Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, UTR presents Dead Men Talking. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's me, your boy, the Huntsman, here with the Outbreak Mongo. I like that one. Outbreak Mongo. I like that one. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. We're here because we're going to be reviewing. If you followed us before, you know that me and Mongo like to go over shows, movies, things of that nature. We started off with House of Dragons. Then from there, we went to Interview with a Vampire. And right now, we will be reviewing HBO's adaptation of the hit game, The Last of Us. So, welcome to episode one, The Fungus Among Us. That's a good one. That's a good one. I can't. That's a good one. That's a good one. Now, me myself, I am very, very, very blind going into this. Very blind going into this. I've never played the game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never even heard of it until I saw the commercial for the series. So I had no idea what's to expect or anything. However, my counterpart over here has spent months in this game. So he knows every detail. So this would be an interesting point of view on how we review this show. All right. Yeah, Mongo is the video game person of us, so he pretty much knows every detail and is pretty much going to tell me, nope, that's wrong, that's right, that's wrong, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm here to be a dick.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
uh, so when they first announced this, I was very nervous, and it's because of two things. First off, most video game adaptations that go to like TV or movies end up just kind of sucking. They just like don't really do well, and a lot of that has to do with the people that are responsible for turning it into a show or whatever they take it to, not really respecting what was done before.
Well,
Uh, so
Resident Evil was probably the most successful one, but those movies sucked.
it
I'm
was
sorry.
yeah, it was successful, but it was terrible. Like it was they no live action Resident Evil anything has ever been good. It's always been terrible. It's always been choppy, but that's because Resident Evil's very it's a mixed bag.
Mhm.
They did a Halo series recently that wasn't well received because they again missed the whole point. Um, Silent Hill had one that was good back in 2006, and then another one they did was shit. And then when they were doing this, when they were talking about it, when they're hyping it up, one of the people that's behind this game uh, is on the team to do this.
Ah, okay.
Which is why Neil Druck he's part of this. So he was trying to here to like make sure, hey, this is the story. This is what you need to hit. Every story we need to take. The issue is, and this is a problem I personally have with The Last of Us. Um, People like to blow a lot of smoke up that game's ass, like it's like a very like special, and it's good. But as far as like as games go, like it's all right. It's the story is fun. But when they were talking about this show, they were like, "Oh, it's not like other video games where you're shooting lasers out of your eyes." Like this motherfucker has not played games before. If they're just like, "Oh, every other game is not realistic. Every other game is just it's just for kids." And this is like, no,
I'm saying, isn't it?
it's a
I'm
normal
not gonna.
game.
I'm not gonna lie. From the previews that I got, the first thing I thought was, "Oh, we getting another Walking Dead type situation."
Mhm.
That was my initial thought from the beginning. I'm like, "Oh, we're getting another Walking Dead type situation where we getting some zombies that are biting." And I said, "You know what? That makes sense that this was a video game because what a lot of video games, you're some
Zombies.
kind of survivor." Get killing some type of zombie. I'm like, you know what? It makes sense. This was a video game at some point. So
The
okay,
perfect,
I
the
see why.
perfect video game villain is a zombie. But
Right.
yeah, but it made it interesting because and we'll talk about the intro of this thing. They talk about the cordyceps and all these other fungus and fungi that like infect the brain of insects.
Hmm.
and these are real things. The cordyceps fungus is something that actually infects ants and gets into their brain and makes them like walk up to a
Crazy.
tree where they can sprout and spread the spores further. Like these exist. Like it was just terrifying. They can't
Right.
they can't affect us, but the idea they're like, oh shit, that's real. What the fuck? Like it's
Like, so we really got like zombies walking around in the animal kingdom. Got it. Got
like
it. Like,
so like when I guess we'll dive into it in a second, but like that was a cool thing that they did, which was really interesting. But like I said, I'm always nervous about video game adaptations because God, they just usually suck. They just usually suck. This does not. This does not. And Kenny, I sent you a video, and we'll talk about it after we get done reviewing this. I sent, yeah, yeah, ugh, man, it's so good. But I sent you a video that showed like clips from the game and from the show, and how
we'll get into
close
that.
they
Yeah.
got to things.
Yeah.
But so let's dive right into it. The show starts, and I'll go ahead and tell you this: this is not part of the game. The game starts with Sarah giving Joel the watch.
Okay. Well, the
Uh,
show starts with first off, the show starts with a familiar face to anybody who is a fan of the movies that I like. I looked at the minute and I said, "Hey, that's Jonathan from the Mummy." It has what you call it? Damn it, I forget his name right now. But the show starts with a panel of three gentlemen who are first off, they're very sarcastic with each other in their banter, extremely sarcastic with each other to the point where I believe the host of the show that they're on is actually making fun of um the particular actor whose name slips my mind right now. His theory. So they're going back and forth, and he goes, "What do you think is the scariest threat to mankind?" And they're going off about guns, this being sick, this is and that, and he goes, "No, fungus." And he goes into this deep, deep, deep description of the fungus that you were actually talking about, Jonathan. Thank you, John Han. Thank you.
that's right.
Goes into a goes into a deep description of the fungus that Mongo was just talking about. And he said, well, what if that fungus actually gets a chance to mutate and it can infect us? All of a sudden, the jokes and the banter pretty much stop, and everybody's face is looking like, is he for real? Could this shit really happen?
And what did he say was the reason that it could mutate? It was
Um,
what if we get a
uh,
little bit warmer?
global warming.
Yeah. And he
Global
said
fucking
that,
warming.
and they have the audience just go dead. They're just like all of a sudden everybody is just hold on.
Wait, we are getting warmer. Wait a minute. What do you
Which
mean?
is
What do you mean?
which is a great point because like everybody that means everybody at home is watching going, oh shit, wait a minute.
Hmm.
That thing's real? Hold on, wait a minute. Whoa. That's like the first one of these stories where like, oh wait, this can this happen?
It's one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those points where all of a sudden you pause the show and then start looking on your phone and the internet for funguses. Like, could
Oh,
this shit
oh,
mutate on us? What could cause a fungus to mute if it goes up 5 degrees in 19? Shit, we done went up 15 degrees in the past 5 years. Throw all mushrooms away.
we're done with them. No more.
Big
I don't want them on my
shroom, you're
salad. I
done.
don't want them on my sandwich. I don't.
So, and then it goes from there. The next scene goes like as you said, how the game now starts. Right. Even when you know it's scary, it makes me like it could be real. Exactly. Like, wait a minute, it's this is a possibility.
Al Gore tried to warn us. We're on Al Gore's internet right now talking about the ramifications.
Al Gore is Joel. All right, damn it. This is so we now get into the actual characters of the TV show um Last of Us. It Now, you like you said, Mongo. The game starts with Sarah being Joel's daughter, giving him a watch for his birthday. Now, in the TV show, it shows her waking up, going through her morning routine like a normal teenager and stuff. Him taking her to school, and then after school, she goes downtown to have said watch repaired, fixed, and while she's down there getting the watch fixed, something happens. She doesn't really know what's going on. All of a sudden, it's almost like chaos. And the watch owner's wife comes in a panic mode. The watch fixer's wife comes in like in a panic mode, like, no, no, you got to go. You got to go right now. So she goes and she gets back to the house. She gets back to the house. It's Joel who's her father. It's his birthday. He was supposed to pick up a cake for them to celebrate his birthday. It seems like Joel is the type of father who is always working, kind of like around, but like not around. And it appears that it's just Joel and Sarah. There is no mother around. Maybe we'll find out about that later on. But as of right now, we don't know if there is a mom.
The best you have is old Uncle Tommy, who's
Right.
just
Uncle Tommy who walks around with an assault rifle in his truck for some odd reason.
I want to stop right here because this is before she goes to school and gets to watch and stuff done. They're leaving the house to go to school, and her neighbor asked her to come over and have some breakfast with them, have some biscuits, and
It's an elderly woman who clearly either she's obviously going through dementia or something where she's being assisted by other people that are around her. Right. Uncle Tommy's like, I'm not
hysteria.
fucking around to find out. That's what Uncle Tommy's theory is.
That's how you live.
So the next door neighbor, they're like, come on over. And she's like, okay. Like, at first they tried to get Joel to come over.
He's like, oh, now I hope we're always a bad sign of video games. That's so true.
Always. Always.
Anytime you see one, you need to back away. They're like, hey,
Eventually they will bite your ass.
You want to have some? They're always bite. They're always biters. Hey, do you want to have some biscuits? We made some biscuits. And Joel says, no, I'm on the Atkins diet. I can't do that. And the old man goes, what's Atkins? He says, Sarah will
Sarah come over and explain it to you. Right. Old people they become biters and get quick.
Yeah, Sarah will explain it, and she's like, thanks for just
throwing me under the bus.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that. All right.
But anyway, so we go back to, she gives the watch to Joel, and it's a watch that he had before, and they didn't get into it, so we're not really going to talk about it much. But it was an old watch he'd had for a while, and that he'd been meaning to get fixed. So she gets it fixed for him, and he does this thing, and he does, and again, this is something that they took directly from the game. It's just like a small detail, but it matters. Where he goes,
he asks, "Where'd you get the money from this?"
It's not working.
And she grabs it.
And and it's fine. Like, oh, you dick. That's
right.
That's no thing. It's like
spot on with the game from that video clip that you showed me. So far, everything except for the beginning with the panel of the three gentlemen, everything pretty much has been spot on with the game from that video that you showed me. Almost even down to the words.
Yeah, like it's kind of strange, and like the stuff that wasn't, it's like Ellie's going to school, getting the stuff done. It's stuff that you have to add for the show,
right?
Because you can't just hop directly into the action in the TV show. You got to have a little bit more stuff. But nothing feels. It doesn't feel like there's too much. It doesn't feel like they stuffed the episode. It feels like it's just enough to tell you what's going on with this relationship, who these people are, and why you should care. It's so far it's really well done. I can't shy away from that.
And you see the type of banter that Sarah and Joel have as father and daughter, because when even in the video game and the actual TV show, when he goes, "Well, where'd you get the money for this?" The same reply by Sarah is, "Oh, so hardcore drugs."
Mm-hmm.
And they both the Joel's response to that in both the video game and in the TV show is a reference to her helping paying a bill now, since that's what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they are pretty much right on par with each other as far as the adaptation, even as far as what the character of Joel himself looks like. And the character of Joel himself, if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you will know that is my man who got his head smashed by the mountain. Okay.
The Viper. The Viper. Man, we all
That's my
thought
man
he
who
was.
got it. We thought he was gonna be the shit,
We
and
all.
he got turned into shit.
He was the shit though. He whooped the mountain's ass. He didn't finish the job. You know, that's hope,
It's hard to kill
hopefully
somebody who's seemingly undead.
hopefully he's learned. Hopefully he's learned his lesson. Headshots, always headshots. But yeah, no, Pedro Pascal. He's also the Mandalorian. He's Mando in the Mandalorian.
Mhm.
So he's like it's like three really great characters and three different great shows. He's also the main villain in the second Wonder Woman movie that we won't talk about. And but no, man.
1984.
But no, man, he's great. And the person that did the voice in the game is Troy Baker, who he's like a legendary voice actor for games and stuff. But Pedro did a fantastic job of like
Of
he's
matching the
close
voice
to
too.
the
Yeah.
voice, but it's different enough. But it's just like it's honestly it's he's still
Mannerisms,
he's out of yeah. It's
like
perfect. It's
like I said, the way he looks, just it's damn near spot on, and it's like wow.
the
Like,
way his face, like the way he squints at things he finds strange, or like it's just
mhm.
everything is just boom, 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 boom.
So we get to a point now where in the video game and in the TV show, um, Sarah and Joel are watching a movie, and Sarah falls asleep on Joel's lap on the couch. Now, in the video game, this doesn't happen, but in the TV show, Joel gets a call from Uncle Tommy. Uncle Tommy is obviously Joel's best friend, something like that. Like been through thick and thin with him. Um, Uncle Tommy's in jail. Somebody done fucked around and found out with Uncle Tommy, and Uncle Tommy's in jail. So he has to go bail and get Tommy out. Now,
Tommy's his younger brother.
oh,
Tommy's
okay.
actual young. He's an actual younger brother. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So Tommy, he has to bail Tommy out. So he puts Sarah in bed, and we fast forward to it's not even the next morning. It's kind of like in the middle of the night.
Later that night. Yeah.
Later that night, Sarah's awakened to a bunch of like rumbling and rambling that's going on, and she's like, "What
There's an
the?"
explosion far off in like the main city.
And it's rumbling all the way through.
And again, here's a point where it diverges from the original, but it's good that you have to add a little bit more stuff to this. So in the game, she walks downstairs. Joel comes into the door. Hey, back up. Something's happening with our neighbors. In the show, Sarah
She
goes
goes
to her
out.
neighbor's house.
Right. In the show, Sarah goes
Dog.
outside to the neighbor's house because the dog is barking and whining and trying to get in, and Tom and Joel is not in the house because Joel went to go get Tommy in the show. So she goes over to try to get the to bring the dog back, and the dog is like, "Oh fuck no, I'm not going back over there. Like I ran over here for a reason.
That dog
I'm not
escaped the
going."
collar and was just gone.
I don't blame him.
Which is the that is I've if you're taking the dog back to its house,
And that shit
and
is
it
like,
does that, you follow that dog. Follow that dog wherever it's going, because whatever's happening in that house, you just don't need to see.
First of
You just
all,
don't
the
need to
way
see.
the dog was banging on the door to get in was hilarious. That motherfucker had both paws up, like, yo, let me in, goddammit. Let me in. There's some shit going down. Sarah, Sarah, motherfucker, I know you home. Sarah.
Sarah goes over there.
As
The
soon as she
doors.
cracks open the door, that dog is inside, like, yo, close this door. Yo, there's some shit going on next door. Don't open that. And she's like, come on. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What you mean, come on? Go back. I came here. Oh, you want to take me back? I got a trick for you. Collar gone.
Gone. Dog's safe. Dog is safe.
No, so you ain't
For
getting my
those of you
ass, not today.
for those of you for those of you that use that website, does the dog die for like movies and TV shows? Dog didn't die. Dog got away.
Easily,
Uh,
quick.
he had a
Okay.
better chance than the others did. So Ellie walks into the house of her old neighbors, and the
Sarah.
door's already cracked open. Sarah, yeah, and um, there's blood on the floor, and she kind of like steps in, and the old man is sitting by the back door, holding his neck, like help
Mhm.
me, which you should have ran
Is
then.
it right?
Walks around the corner. The old woman that was like catatonically dealing with dementia is eating like their nurse,
Tan
and
her a new one.
she looks up, and you see these little fungal cordyceps things coming out of her mouth,
Mhm.
which
And then
is this is another thing that they changed, which I think is fine. I think I saw people get upset about this. In the game, they make a huge deal about it being spread through spores
mhm,
and you having to wear masks all the time and all this stuff. I think for a TV show,
mhm.
that's fine. You don't have to do the spores because if you don't want to have your people's mask faces covered with masks nonstop. And we're just getting
Get
through this our own pandemic of having have masks on.
exactly. Nobody wants to be reminded
We
about that.
we cannot have that. It is not important enough to where it's going to kill it's fine. It's a good change. Leave it alone. Just move on.
Um,
You and I have talked
another
about before
another telltale.
about how things get changed like this, and how sometimes it's just better for the show if they change just one thing. This is one of
Is
those.
the one thing that I can say that it reminded me of, with the fungal spores that were coming out of the mouth of the next door neighbor. It reminded me of Blade 2 with the
Oh,
super
the like
vampire.
advanced vampires, yeah.
The
Mhm.
vampire. It reminded me of that. So it was. I didn't like I said. I knew nothing about the game, so it didn't bother me that it looked like that. Another telltale sign: if dude was sitting there going, "Help me," and you look over, that old lady's eating. Why do they always all of a sudden get the sporadic? I can break dance moves to get to my feet. Like if somebody's doing that, why are you gonna stand there and wait for them to transform to an upright position to goddamn chase you?
Like,
Okay,
move, run,
go, go,
get out,
get out of here,
get the fuck
get out of here. No need for it. No
out.
need. So so she's sitting there, and the old lady starts chasing her, moving at 150 miles an hour now. Right. Smart. Use that time to run away. If I see somebody about to it hitting the electric boogaloo and they head turn, oh, it's time to be out. It's time. I see you busy. I'll be back when it's a better time for you. So
I'll go. I'll go ahead and close the door, and I'll close the
on
other
my
door.
way out. No,
I'll
no,
lock it. No.
I'll let myself out. Don't worry about that. So we have Sarah being chased through the house, and she's screaming for her life, being chased through the house. And in the game, Mongo, that you showed me the clip, the next door neighbor is Joel's already in the house. Now remember, in the TV show, he's not. In the game, it shows Joe the neighbor banging and trying to get into their house, and runs up on them, and Joel shoots the neighbor. Now on the show, she's running out, and as she's running out, she runs into Joel and Uncle Tommy pulling up in the truck. Joel doesn't have a gun in his hand at the time. He has a big ass wrench, which is always, with zombies and stuff, you get three weapons. You eventually get a shotgun, but that's later on. Start off with a wrench, then you work your way up to a machete. Then you get your gun. Okay, that's the zombie code. Whether it be game, TV show, right, right. It's hierarchy. You start off with a wrench.
You got to start off low. You got to work your way up.
Right. The first zombie you taking on hand to hand. Just to let you know, you better be able to box. Because the first zombie you taking on with the hands. Then when you get to the second floor to check your bathroom, that's when you get your wrench. When you finally get out your house, that's when you get your machete. When you make it to the first checkpoint is when you get your shotgun. That's usually the hierarchy and how the zombie thing goes.
Yeah.
So tell me I'm lying, Mongo. You play zombie games.
No, you're right. You're right. So Joel and Uncle Tommy pull up in the truck.
And Joel gives this neighbor, he swings for the fences. Swings for the fences on her ass with the damn wrench.
The big
Tommy's sitting there with the gun.
Back of the door.
Right. Tommy's sitting there with the gun pointed at her like, what are we going to do, Joel? Joel, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Last minute, Joel power slapped her ass with that wrench. So now Sarah's looking like, you killed her. You killed her. He's like, she was sick, baby. Get in this car. So now they're in the car. And the adaptation of them being in the car, taking the drive to get to where they feel of safety between the video game and the TV show, dead spot on.
Dude, I
dead
need
spot on.
Every second when they pull up to that spot, they're going to take a right. The same amount of cars
take 70. Take 71. What? Take 71. Like it's the same.
They go by that house is burning. Like, oh shit, that's Jimmy's place. Like
that's the only thing that changed. The name.
Yeah.
In the game, it's the Lewis farm. In the TV show, he says that's Jimmy's place. But it's like the ad libs after that. The ad libs after that. Oh shit. I hope he made it out. I'm sure he did. Yeah. Same. Dead spot on.
Jesus.
Driving. Seeing the family on the side of the road. The details to what the people on the side. The details to what they were wearing. The bystanders on the road, what they were wearing were exactly the same. I was like, oh shit. Like they are really like doing this.
I'll put this in the comments of our stuff here and all the comments because if you want to see it, it's strange how much they get right.
Right.
This.
It's even the point of how the house looks while it's burning. The flames, how the house is burning, is like dead on. It's like dead on.
The thing that is I think is different, if I remember right, is how the wreck happens.
Yeah.
In the show, they decided to have a fucking helicopter crash down, which a bit more cinematic. That's fine.
But
it's fine.
I was wondering about that. How did the Fungus get on an airplane already?
I'm assuming someone was infected. Well, it was a helicopter, wasn't it?
No, no, it was an airplane.
It was an airplane.
Yeah, it was an
I'm assuming
airplane.
someone had gotten bit because they say in that drive that the woman was
Sick for
going
two
to
days.
either city. She's going to the major city, which is where they said the infection was happening. So I'm
Mm,
assuming the infection was happening. So someone was on the plane that got already was infected, and then they just crashed down.
mm.
But and then they say, oh well, you and Tommy were in the city a lot the past few days, which
Mm.
makes you a little
Makes
nervous.
right. When he said, "No, baby, we're not sick. We weren't." He's like, for be sick the way that she got sick, she had to spend hours and time and time and time in the city. And no, actually, it's I'm sorry, Mongo, we got that incorrect. The next
Hmm.
door neighbor, like we said, was the one who goes spends a lot of time in the city to go to her doctors. Sarah was worried because she recently went in the city to get his watch fixed. That's why she had the look of concern. She was like, I was in the city. He's like, you'd have to go into the city and be there a long time and stay there for a while for it to infect you or bother you or whatever. So that's what that worry was about. She was nervous because she had just gone to the city the day before to get his watch fixed. So she didn't know how contagious it was or how it was going to be spread or anything like that. So,
So they again that's drive, which again is just fucking spot on. They get to the city, they get in a wreck, and Joel pulls Sarah out. Sarah's leg is injured, her ankle's twisted or
mhm.
something, and
This is like
Tommy
one of the
wakes.
few times where it diverts a little bit from the
Just
actual game. It's
not
slight.
like it's nothing. It's nothing that you should be upset about. I've seen people.
It's not something you should be upset
Well,
about, but it is a
they,
difference because in the game, from the clip you showed me, Tommy
Mhm.
stays with
With them longer than they do. Yeah,
yeah, he stays with them longer than what happens because
they
in
kind of get separated in the
right here
show.
at the
I don't know.
crash.
And the game is like, all right, Tommy, you're gonna defend this while we're running, and then but once this happens, once all hell breaks loose, they just get split up.
Yeah.
Joel is carrying Sarah through all this, and you see more people getting attacked by these infected. I don't know what they are going to call them in the game. They're called clickers because when this fungus infects them, they start making this like clicking noise,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like they were like a reverse, like an whatever the ring girl does, or not the ring girl,
Yeah.
the grudge girl
Mm-hmm.
does. It's like that, but like if you're sucking wind in,
Ah.
like so. I don't know what we're gonna call them here. I don't think they have a name
Uh.
for them yet. But they didn't say zombies. They never because they'll never say zombies. For some reason,
Nah.
no one wants to say zombies when it's a zombie. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. Walking Dead, they didn't do it. They called them walkers. A lot of times they'll just say they're infected. They're the formers. Like just say
It's a
zombie.
zombie.
Just say zombie. We know what a zombie is. Anyway, uh, Joel rushes Sarah through this restaurant that they run into. This one of these infected almost gets to him. It gets shot by the military. And this is, if you played the game and you're like watching this with someone who has not played it, this is the scene that you're waiting to get to
To see
because
if
it's
it changes.
it, yeah, because when this came out, this was the most heartbreaking fucking thing I
Listen,
had ever played in a like. I was crying when this happened.
I'm
It
gonna tell you.
broke me.
Let's talk about it now.
And
First of all,
you more so, I'm sure, because you got
I
daughters. I don't.
bro, bro, do you know how hard I'm sitting here watching this with my wife, and I gotta play the tough guy act because I don't need her to see me having a tear drop down my eye as I watch this scene. Okay, I gotta play the
It's
tough
so
guy act as I'm sitting here trying not to watch this scene. Like,
for the uh yeah,
so
it's uh
basically, basically what happens is the military shoots the infected and Joe's like, my daughter's ankle is hurt, and he's like, freeze, you got to stop right there. And you can hear the soldier radio in to his superior officer. I have higher up. I have two civilians here. One's injured, and I guess he asked him what type of injury. Make sure it's like a he's like ankle injury, and even in the game, there's a. It's pretty much word for word. Once again, for
Where it's
what's
like,
going on in the show and what's
it's
going on in the game.
sir, it's just an ankle. It's just a sprained
Right,
ankle.
just the ankle. He was like, "Repeat, sir. Are you sure, sir?"
Mhm.
And the next thing you know, he cocks the gun and is letting off rounds. You know his order was to not let anyone or anything get out of this quarantined area, this zone. So Joel is
Joel tries to turn and protect Sarah from a bullet.
Sarah,
He
and
gets takes one to the back, I think. Um,
no, he
takes
doesn't
one
get hit at all in the show. In the show, he doesn't get hit
in the
at
show. It
all.
doesn't in the game. In
No,
the game, it takes like one, I think. But okay, in the show,
in the show, he
uh,
doesn't get hit at all. But you see that the bullets are ringing by, going back and forth, blah 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 blah.
and
And
something is
Uncle
hit.
Tommy,
One of them hits something
right?
when they fall to the ground.
And Uncle Tommy comes and kills the soldier for them to get away,
Boom, one shot in the
right?
head, and
So,
then
and then here comes the part where you're holding back waterworks. You look, and Sarah is the one who was hit with the bullet. She takes one in the stomach,
it was not.
and
It was not. It was not like a graze.
a full
It was a
on,
bad. It was bad.
a full on one in the stomach. And this poor little girl is screaming, hollering, and Joel's sitting there. Tommy, come on, you gotta help me. And Tommy knows there's nothing he can do. He knows there's nothing that he can do. Well, good morning to you too.
Oh,
Yes.
it gets worse. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
If you couldn't handle that, you should just stop watching. It's gonna get worse. Yeah. So he's
Yeah. You
and
can hear
again
her,
another.
this
This is
poor
another
girl
thing.
screaming. And it's
Dad,
exactly the
Dad.
whimpers from the video game that you hear on the TV you see in the show. And you see him trying to press on the stomach, trying to keep pressure to keep the blood down and everything. And she's and now we all know I have a complete starting five of girls. Okay, we all know, right? So we all know I'm a 100% girl dad. So I'm sitting there low key trying not to look over, like I said at my wife, like I'm gonna just keep looking straight because if I turn my head, the tear's gonna fall. So if I look straight and breathe deep, maybe I can suck the tear back into my tear duct. So she won't know. And unfortunately, Sarah does not make it.
She is. He's like, just let me. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. I gotta get you. I got just let me pick you up. I know it hurts.
And then you
And
don't hear any more sounds from her.
Tommy says, Joel, and like the. This is the part where it's like, wow, I can't believe they were this detailed with this. Troy Baker and Pedro Pascal's like, no, 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 Sarah, no, like the exact same amount of no's
Mm-hmm.
timed the exact same amount. Like Jesus, how many takes did that take? How many times no, it's 8 no's. It's 8 no's. Then you say her name. Like how many times did they do that? Go ahead.
Right, pretty much. That's exactly what I was.
Get back in there, Tier.
Get back in there,
Get in there.
Tyr. That's exactly
But
what I was
yeah,
saying there.
dude, that I played that when it first came out. I played it 2 years ago before the second one came out, and I watched this, and I bawled like a child every single. I've never not cried at that scene. Oh
Well,
my god! I'm like I'm sniffling up thinking about it.
Dude,
That shit.
first of all, I hate you
brutal.
for showing me that damn little. Hey, before we get on the show, watch this. Okay, I had gotten over it since I seen it a week ago. So like boom, thank you for making me sit there and niffle before we start the damn show. All right, I was like,
Look,
ugh.
Beck, it's to be fair, it's good he's freaking out. That's a good thing. I think if none of us were freaking out over that scene, I think we're psychopaths. So I think it's a good
Right.
thing that he was upset. That's a thumbs up. That's what that
Right.
is.
If no one was freaking out
Oh,
off of that
God.
scene, their favorite song is "Goodbye Horses." Okay.
So like that is the way that ends. You're like, oh my God, is the episode over? No, that's just
No.
halfway through. That's halfway through.
Halfway. That was the first 15
First,
minutes.
15, 20
That was
minutes.
the first 15, 20. This was an
we got
hour and a
another-
half episode.
We got
another
to go.
hour to go. So now I'm
And-
sitting, mind you.
So like, so
folks,
yeah. Sorry. So like that was the prologue of the game, Kenny. She gives him the watch. Shit breaks loose. She dies. Boom, and you're into the next. Like that was it. That's all you had. And even then, like without all the extra shit of her fixing breakfast and going to school and getting the watch fixed, and you still felt so much of a connection to that daughter and father. Like
oh man,
was so
you
good.
knew. Like I said, I didn't play the game, so I had no expectations of what. Even though I've seen the previews and even though I saw the cover of what the show was going to look like, in my head, it put two and two together that girl was not his daughter.
Mhm.
I really didn't put two and two together. So coming into this, I'm thinking, okay, here are my two characters. Not thinking that his daughter looks completely different from the girl who's on the cover with him when they preview the show. Not thinking about that. I'm like, okay, the show's gonna be about him. So to have to me a main character taken out in the first 15 minutes, fuck me up. I'm like, well, where the hell are we going? Well, where the hell are we? Because I just knew this little girl was gonna be part of this show.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, man, I hate it for her because damn, that actress was great.
That's Stanley
fantastic.
Newton's daughter. That's Stanley Newton's daughter. That's who that was. Because I'm like, she looks so familiar.
Well.
She looks
she
so
did
familiar,
so well, man. Like I wish she, but that she had to die. But like, hopefully she gets more work because damn, that was good.
Yeah.
So we cut to after all that, we cut to 20 years later. The town has gone to shit. Grass is overgrowing things, and it's kind of like sort of police state-ish. Their city is held together by like essentially the cops of the area.
District B19 style.
Right. Mm-hmm.
District B19 style, and the city kind of looks like I Am Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly. That's if you've never played this or seen this, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's
right. It looks like I Am Legend.
It's not been kept up. Things have overgrown. It's just there are barricades.
Right. So
I'll
now it's 20 years later in the game, and it's also 20 years later on the show, and like we were saying before, the likeness of the details of the characters is so similar, it's ridiculous. Joel's character in the game, the gray in the beard, the dirtiness of the shirt, the way his hair is looking is the exact same detail as it is in the damn show. So you wake up, you see Joel waking up out of his sleep. He had some kind of, memory, bad dream about what was going on, and he's getting himself together. Now, as he's getting himself together, it cuts over to a woman. Okay. Tess. Tess is talking with another guy, two other men. Well, it's not so much that she's talking as so much as she's pretty much getting her ass whipped. She's pretty much getting her ass ripped. So the guy that's it's three guys, and you're like, well, what the shit is going on here? Why is and it comes to find out that they had some kind of deal, and he was pretty much stabbing her in the back with the deal. She's whipping his ass. But as she's whipping his ass, as he's getting her his ass whipped, he's pretty much pleading with her for her not to tell Joel.
Yeah.
Like,
Robert.
I'm whipping you. Robert is pretty much he's going, I'm gonna whip your ass because I'm double crossing you, but please don't tell Joel it was me that double crossed y'all and whipped your ass.
Now, so at this point, the issue is Tess and Joel are trying to buy a car battery.
Yeah, because they're trying to make a
This,
run for it to get out of this police state.
and I'm gonna bring this back up later because this is. I told you before, I had one gripe with this show. Right now, I have one, and right now it might not turn into anything. It might just be nothing, but it's something that I'm kind of like nervous about. In the games, it's not a battery. Tess and Joel are gun smugglers, and it's a cache of guns that Robert has basically stolen from them. So I'm going to tell you why they do that and what the difference is later on when we finish the recap. And I'll explain to you why I don't like that change. That's the one change I don't like. But
That might be significant because it seems like this battery is playing a big part in this story right now.
It's a major change.
So that might be significant. I did not know that part. So they're pretty much trying to. It seems like the plan is that Tess and Joel are trying to leave this police state area that they're in to, have a better chance for themselves, better lives. You know what I mean? So,
well, that is until we see Joel go meet with that guy. I can't remember what he's doing, but he's basically trying to get messages out.
Yes, he's going to meet up with the police officer.
Mm-hmm.
He meets up with one of the police officers, and first off, the police officer is buying what looks like perks off of him. Let's keep it a buck. It looked like he was buying some perks off him. So obviously, we know Joe has access to things that he shouldn't have access to. So which leads us to believe that, you know what, Mongo? Now that you mention that, and now that I'm saying that, I think guns, yeah.
Mm. You try to see like Joel in the games. Joel quickly adapted to the hardened world that he was in.
Yeah, and
you had to do shit you don't want to do.
Right, and in the TV show, you can see that as well. But the fact that he was I just caught on to it as I'm saying it. He was this cop's supplier.
Mm-hmm.
He was this cop's supplier, yo. Like for a big, and it wasn't like he was it wasn't like he was a supplier for like one or two pills here and there. It looks like he was his like main connect. Like he was the Tony Montana of this shit.
Joel and Tess were smugglers in general. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it does make sense. Like the battery doesn't kind of coincide with what Joel does now.
Mm-hmm. Right. So after he talks to that cop, he talks to the guy that's trying to send messages out to people there's like a line of people that they're trying to get messages to their family. Joel takes the line, meets the guy, and he tries to get a message to Tommy because he says Tommy's been gone for 3 weeks with no word back. He's getting the battery to get the car to go save Tommy because he thinks Tommy's in trouble. So that's what they're doing with the battery. And I'll talk about the guns later. We just wanted to get through this first. He goes back to his apartment. Tess shows up. Again, the part where Tess is getting beat by Robert, you don't see that in the game. All you see is
her showing up with the bruises.
It's 20 years later. Joel's in his apartment. Tess shows up. She has a bruised face. And she explains, these two teenagers just jumped me. And then after a while, Joel's just not buying it. She goes, "Look, Robert's
Robert.
men,
Fuck.
he fucked us essentially. He sold the battery to somebody else, and he's keeping the money." And Joel's like, "Shit, what do we do?" And Tess says, "I'll tell you what we do. We're gonna get our fucking money. We're gonna get
Hmm.
our fucking battery. That's what we're gonna do."
Pretty much.
And so they go find out where Robert's hiding. And while they're doing that, this person walks up like, "Hey, brother, you look like you lost." And Joel goes, "If you try to tell me to follow the sun, I'm going to break your jaw." And he just goes,
And he just stops. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. Have a good day.
he's
Have a
like,
good
"I'm
day.
not in the mood for your shit today."
And that might be the quickest way I've ever seen someone get rid of a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, my God. And he saw that next time. Oh, my Jesus.
Right. So
So they go underground to like get to this next part to go find Robert. It's underground passage, and they find someone who is fully fungified on the wall.
mhm.
And Tess is freaked. "Oh my god!" And Joel says, "That wasn't here last time you were here." And she says, "No, that must have been something like the past few weeks." Which shows how fast this thing can spread through your body and what it can do to you.
You right. And what happens once you keep going being infected? Like you eventually become a spore to spread it.
Mhm. Now, again, at this point in the game, they would have been putting on masks. Oh, there's spores around. Got to protect ourselves here. Not doing spores. Just it's the fungal thing. And they
Hmm.
didn't really say exactly yet how it spreads. I think right now there's just, oh, if you get bit,
Bit right.
it's spreading. But I don't know if there's any other explanation. And if that's it, that's fine. We're also did you cover Ellie showing up
No,
for
not
the
yet.
okay. So before we get to this next part, so this girl walks into the borders of the city, falls over on the ground,
Mhm.
and is saved by this. Uh, did they say who
This
they were, Kenny? Did they say what the group was called?
um
Because if not, I don't want to say it.
no, no, they haven't. I was about to say something else, but then I was thinking Agents of Shield. I was about to say Fireflies. But that's Agents of Shield.
No, 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 no,
Um
no, no. If they said fireflies, firefly. Okay, yes, okay. So
it
the
was it the Fireflies?
the fireflies. So the
Okay, so then
fireflies
it
are
was
this like
them. Yes.
the fireflies are this rebelling force. Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name too. It's
Marlene?
God. What is Marlene? Yes, Marlene.
Marlene.
Marlene um, is the leader of the fireflies,
Hmm.
and brings this girl in, and they are testing her to make sure she is not, going to turn
Sick.
because she's infected. She has a bite. She has a bite on her.
Hmm.
And I don't remember how long they say it. Was it a week that they
No,
keep her
you
there? A few
they were
days?
planning on, yeah, they were planning on keeping her just a few days. But due to everything that's going on, they're pretty much speeding the process up of getting her out because the it looks like the military found out what was going on and what's the next plans and stuff like that. So they realized they got to get the hell out of Dodge. Now they're trying to take this little girl, Ellie. We found out her name is Ellie. And once again, for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, that's Lady Mormont, little badass.
Lamar who I know there are people that didn't like her and what she did. I thought it was cool. I thought what they did with her was awesome. Her killing the
Right.
giant. This is nice. It's a cool moment. Um, so having her in here is cool. A little Game of Thrones reunion. Um, so Marlene's explaining to Kim that they're going to get out of the city and they're going to take that girl that's trapped in the room with them. And she doesn't say
Hmm.
why. Um, at this point, have you figured out what is happening.
At this point, as someone who doesn't know anything about what's going on, I figured that this little particular girl, either her blood is the cure or something else. Like I know she's a way that's going to try to stop this, or she has an antidote on her, or something like that. That part, I'm going to be honest. That part you can figure out if you follow
Right.
basic movie structure. You can figure that part out. All right, this little girl is the cure. You ain't got to tell me. I don't know how, but she either has the antidote. She knows how to get to the person with the antidote. Something is going on. So yeah, exactly. Just like
So
Z Nation, they say it without saying it. Exactly.
yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah,
So the reason that the reason that the Fireflies are there is because they had just come in and shut up the place.
just
Robert or Joel and Tess go up and try to go in the room, and they realize, oh, there's blood dripping through the door. What is?
right.
And they open it up, and everyone's dead, including Robert. Robert's
Yeah.
already dead, and then there's the battery, which is, as we see, is like corroded and is already like a
Hmm.
dead battery. You were going to get nothing out of that. And Tess
Right.
says, "Oh, so you were trying to screw over two parties at once. You got what you deserved." Um,
Exactly.
this is another thing that they kind of switch what happened in the game, which it leads back to what happened before. In the game, they catch Robert alive,
Mm.
and Tess and Joel torture him
Oh
to
well, yeah.
find
I
out
see
what's
why they
happening.
didn't. I see they. I see why they switched that up.
Like I think they like shoot his kneecaps and like they break his arm. It is brutal what they do to Robert. Um, and again, before it's to get these guns back. They were gun smugglers, just to get their guns back. This time they don't. You don't. So you're not getting to see Joel as brutal and as cold as he was originally. He's a lot less hardened by the loss of his daughter and the world. There, whether we see that later on, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if this is a big deal yet. We're
During
just
in the
not
show.
seeing it. But we're not. He's
Hold on.
not like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say in the show, you do see that Joel has acquired skills and things of that nature in the way that he moves and stuff like that. And you do, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a scene where it shows him using a firearm and how good he is at that particular
There,
skill
there,
now.
was- there was a sticker on the truck of Tommy's truck that said that like some I can't remember what um, military thing it was, but it basically showed that they were both they were originally in the military,
Hmm.
coming out of this, and now they're doing like construction work essentially. So they already knew how to handle guns. They already knew how all this other shit. So that explains why he can do all that.
Army
Army
vet.
vet, yeah. Uh, so right now they're not showing Joel show a lot of compassion. They're just not having him be the guy bringing down the hammer. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's what I'm a little concerned about is are they softening him up? And if they're softening him up because they don't think casual audiences will like him being this fucking essentially a psychopath. I kind of get it, but also the whole point of these games and the story is that Joel is hardened by the loss of his daughter, and he kind of that shell breaks a bit when he's with Ellie. That's the thing.
I think here's the thing with regards to that, the viewer can casual viewer actually picks up on it. We pick up on that he's a hardcore because as soon as Tess tells him happened, as soon as Tess tells him he was like, "Yo, what happened to your face?" Joel was on point. Let's go outside and find him. Who am I? So the casual viewer, even though they don't go into detail as the game, the casual viewer kind of knows that he's hardened.
Yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to know
And
is as someone that didn't play it, do you still
yeah, you
get
get that
that
same
vibe?
vibe. You still get
Okay.
that same vibe. And then when the military police bust in and
Hmm.
start shooting, that's when you find out just how hardened Joel is because he takes out a few of them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Along with the Marlene and Kim and the little girl, Ellie. She tries to stab him. Hold up.
Oh,
Are you talking about the part where she's like, "You got no fucking ear, Kim"? Talking
no, I'm
about
talking about
that
the
part?
part where Ellie tries to stab him and he just fucking judo throws her into a wall.
Right into the goddamn wall. Just hiya, like, what the hell are you doing, you little rat? Get out of here! Like she tries to stab him. All right. So first of all, we did skip over a scene. We skipped over a scene where Marlene is explaining to Ellie why she has him. She's like, you know, you're special. We're gonna get you to safety, and you know why. She kind of explains it to her. Um, and Marlene gives Kim this note because Kim is sitting there pretty much like, why do we have this girl in the fucking room? What's going on? She gives her this note, and Kim's whole attitude changes. Oh my god, are you serious? Okay, fine. Whatever we need to do. Boom, 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 boom. Let's do it. So Ellie knows why she's being led out of the city, which was supposed to be by Marlene, Kim, and whoever. During this interaction with the soldiers who busted in, Marlene gets shot in the gut. Kim gets her ear blown, half of her ear blown off. So Kim is trying to convince Marlene, come on, we can get you out of here and everything. She's like, Kim, we can't go nowhere. She's like, we can do it. She's like, Kim, you got fucking half a ear. What the hell can you do? Nothing. So she pretty much makes a deal with Joel and Tess. Get her out of here. And if you get her to the spot, whatever you need to go find Tommy, whether it be money, guns, not even a battery, they'll give you a damn truck with supplies to get to where you but just get this girl out of here. They reluctantly take her, and now we're on par scene for scene with the video game once again, as far as the details of them trying to maneuver out of the area through the house, going out through the little sewer system type, including the detail of the actual grate that they had to move off of the hole so that they can get out. It's like precise detail for detail at this point. So when you show me that, send me that video, I was sitting there like, wow, right, exactly. Even the skyline of the building, the rain, the little pathway of water trickling down because of the rain, the rubble. It was detailed, detailed, and they're trying to get out. And on the show, you see an officer peeing along the wall of his patrol. Which officer is it? It's the same officer that Joel sold his perks to.
Mhm.
Now, when Joel sold him the perks to earlier, the officer gave him a warning. He said, yo, stay off the streets. Be doing a lot of walkarounds tonight, and the guys are very trigger happy because we have to do this overtime. Just stay off the streets. So when the officer sees it's Joe, he's like, "Are you fucking shitting me? Didn't I tell you to stay off the goddamn streets?" He's like, "Now I got to do this by the book because he's clearly with other people.
I
He's clearly
told
with
you,
another soldier,
like I can't let you go if I'm seen letting you go.
right?
Like
Like it's my ass."
it's yeah.
So he makes all get down, turn on their knees, and you can see the person who he's on, his partner. He's like, check him. And he's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yup. Since you want to do some stupid shit like come out, I got to do this by the book."
Mhm. So they're checking them
And
for infection, and Tess is green, Joel is green, and
green,
Ellie knows
that she
why
ain't
they're gonna
gonna
be
be
green.
green.
They're gonna be green.
That
The
she ain't gonna be green.
guy
So
goes,
she has this worried look on her face, and he scans her, and before the scan read can be shown, she bah, hits him with
Knife.
she's like, you know what? I'm gonna get some. I'm stabbing something today. God damn it! I tried to stab Joe earlier. It ain't work. I'm leaving out of here with something today. Okay, and she pops the soldier, pops the police officer in the leg with the knife, which then interacts and shows. This is when you. This is how the. This is when you see the casual viewer sees just how tough Joel actually is. This you wondered if the casual viewer was gonna know Mongo. This scene right here.
Because he has a
So
flashback.
when she stabs him, that's the okay. We got to get out of this. Joel tackles the cop and beats this man to death with his bare hands. So if you were one of the casual viewer wondered if Joel was psycho, you don't just beat somebody to death with your bare hands.
Yeah, that is. I think in the game he just shoots him. He manages to get a gun and shoots him, but in this, yeah, he beats him to death.
So
And it, yeah,
that's how you know the hardened part. Like in the game, there's details of showing him being a gun smuggler and shit like that. Here, for the casual viewer, to see someone bare knuckle fist beat somebody to death, like get on top, ground and pound UFC to some. That's how the casual viewer knows. Oh, this motherfucker's crazy. There's some shit going on with him, right? To be able to do. Oh, okay. Okay. And then you go back to detail for detail with the video game. Tess screams, Joe, look, Joe, look. And it shows that Ellie is indeed infected. So you get them, what the hell is Marlene doing? Is this a setup? Is this a setup? And Ellie shows them.
I mean,
in certain, yeah, all right.
I'm not even going to debate that.
Any type of movie, yeah. What's the other one? Don't speak. What? Don't speak.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that movie was fucked. It was, oh my god. Oh, why'd you bring that up? Oh man. Oh.
1 and 2. Okay. Like
turkey baster. Oh my god.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah.
So
this is basically the end.
Yeah,
she's not infected.
She says she's
been
not
3
infected.
weeks ago. She's still fine.
Right. She's like, everyone changes after being bit within 2 days. This is 3 weeks old. And they just kind of look at her like, what the hell? Episode over.
So the reason they were getting the guns in the game, they're getting the battery in the show because they need to go save Tommy. Like, we gotta go get Tommy. I gotta go save Tommy. In the game, it's just because they're gun smugglers. That's it. It's just they're gun smugglers. They're going to sell these guns, make some cash, live. That's it. So they're painting a different version of Joel already. But you and I have talked about this before with Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Damon in particular.
Damon in particular. And even what's the last show we did? The vampires.
Louis. The interview with the vampires.
Interview with the vampires. Sometimes you make a change that flows better for a TV show and flows better for a more casual audience to come in. So this might be nothing. It might not, because like you said, you still feel that he's off the deep end at this point.
Right. But here's the thing.
It might end up being nothing. But even if it changes that, it might be for the better.
It gives him a more human thing. you kind of realize just how I feel that from the clip that you showed me in the about the game, you don't get a sense of the loyalty that Joel has for Tommy.
No. Later
So
on, it's brought up and discussed, and they dive into it. But in this episode, they really want to punch into you that Tommy is all Joel has left as far as family goes. And
he
it's a
what you call it?
very different.
Because just the bailing him out of jail, he's like, "Fuck, Joel, you know, you're the only person. If I don't get out now, I'm not going to be to whatever, whatever, whatever."
Mhm.
All right, it's what
From
11 o'clock at
the
night.
from
From like the 5th minute of this episode to the very end, Joel has one person left that he really cares about. Maybe
Hmm.
two, maybe Tess. Maybe he cares about Tess. Maybe it's just a business thing. But Tommy is it. Um,
There's stuff I can't really say much further without
Damn right,
spoiling
you're not
things,
gonna.
so I'm not going to.
You're damn right, you're not
I don't,
gonna.
I don't want you to send me something in the mail, so I'm not going to do anything.
but
Damn right, you're not gonna.
overall, so for you who has never been into any of this world, you've not played the game, you don't know anything about it, blind run, you just saw the first episode. What did you think of it overall? How are you
Um,
invested? What are you? Is it like a 9 out of 10? What do you think?
right now, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 because, like I said, it's until I see more details. Right now, it's definitely giving off Walking Dead vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's definitely giving off Walking Dead vibe. I'm not gonna, and it's giving off typical zombie game vibe. It's giving off typical zombie game vibe, which is cool since it's an adaptation. I personally want to, or am hoping that there are enough changes to keep me like the the change right now that has me interested is the sense of loyalty that he has to Tommy, which was established early on. Like I'm vested to find out whether or not is he going to find Tommy and what's going to happen when he finds Tommy. The little girl portion of it, with them having to transport someone who is the cure or the miracle, that's been done timeless times.
Yeah, that's not a new
Right, that's not a new
thing.
concept. Like one of my
Um,
favorite TV shows, which didn't get renewed, The Passage, is
oh,
this.
yeah, I know, I know, I
I
know,
love that fucking show,
I
yo.
know, man.
We love that show. The
Yeah, that's a
Passage
good
was
show.
good. Right,
Yeah, that
yeah,
sucked.
nothing
That
better than
sucked.
my man Zach Morris growing up shooting guns. Come on, come on, damn it, bring it back, Fox.
Um,
Like
Another
so
thing that, and it's a minor thing. Another thing is Ellie seems a bit more
aggressive.
adjusted in this
Mhm.
in the show, which is good because something that wasn't like in the game, she's like Joel will kill someone and she'll be like, you killed them, and like where how the fuck are you alive if you're still having
Right.
this thought process? And this show, Ellie is not afraid to go for the fucking throat. Ellie is
In a
not
heartbeat.
Like
As you can
Ellie
see, her
is like,
favorite
I know
move
where
is
I am. Mm-hmm.
like her favorite move is I'm gonna stab you in your damn kneecap, bring you down to my height to take you out. You see what she's doing.
And but like I was saying about other things that we've watched and how like people complain about things not being exactly like they're supposed to be. If you do something exactly from start to finish the same, there's not really a point in doing it. Like there was a movie they remade Psycho in the 90s and it was a shot for shot exact 100% remake and it sucked.
Hmm.
Why remake it if you're not, or why do an adaptation if you're not going to do anything different? So this is another example of they're hitting the bullet points, they're hitting the major things, and they're giving you, if you play the game, they're giving you a lot of shit to chew on and a lot of like, oh my god, they
Nostalgia.
kept that in, but
Mhm.
it's enough. They're twisting the story enough to maybe I don't know where this is going to go. Maybe there's something that I'm not going to see coming. Mm. Exactly. It's 20 years after the initial infection. This is
Right.
all she would know. So it makes sense that she is like this. I like that change. Again, the only thing that and it's really a nitpick because, like you said, you still got that idea that Joel isn't right
Right.
at this moment. You still get that. So as long as that comes across, it's not a major issue. It's
Oh,
not a major problem.
one thing also that lets us know that Joel is hardened and that he's holding on to a heavy pain. When they first meet Ellie, Tess goes to go run and get some business and leaves Joel and Ellie in the apartment by themselves. And Joel sits lays on the couch. She's like, "What are you getting ready to do?" He's like, "Kill time." Basically, I'm gonna take a nap. We ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna take a nap. She's like, "What am I supposed to do?" You'll figure that out. First of all, that was word for word from the game. All right. And then you have, as she's walking by him, she goes, "Your watch is broken." And he doesn't even look at her or anything like that. He just kind of takes a deep breath and goes and closes his eyes like, "I'm going to sleep."
Mhm.
So just from her saying that and the fact that he's wearing the watch,
Mhm.
you can tell
He's still wearing it. And
right. You can tell he's still heartened and heartbroken about it. Mongo, you got a question?
Mm. Just play the games. What do you think about the changing of race? They don't matter. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't affect the story. Joel's daughter being, I guess, just black. It doesn't change anything. It literally has no effect.
Right. She's gone.
Like it really, it
She's
just
gone.
doesn't matter. Like I think they did a few other ones, and again, it doesn't fucking add to the story. It doesn't affect anything. It's fine. It's at that point you're just picking the best actor or actress. Like I don't care. It's unless you're doing a fucking historical movie or
Yeah.
something. I could give a shit. I really don't care.
Right. Like
I
we
said
saw
because
how.
that happened in House of the Dragon. What's his name? The Serpent of the Seas, I think,
Right.
was originally, and they just like, okay, all right, doesn't change anything. It
Right.
changes nothing.
Like Louis in Interview with a Vampire. That
Like
change actually.
that
That change
that
was actually
mattered.
good.
Yeah,
It
that
made it
mattered a lot. But they changed the story, and it worked out because, like you
right.
said, like before, Louis was a fucking plantation owner.
Right.
Now, how they change it? Well, now he's a bootlegger, and he runs some whorehouses, and it's like, all right, cool.
Works for me.
Hit the bullet points, move on. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I've never cared. I'll continue to say it doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter.
So we pretty much know now that the goal, since that was pretty much the end of the episode, we know now the goal is to get Ellie from point A to point B. And like I said, and the question you asked me, as a casual viewer, that for me, like I said, the detail of if he's gonna find Tommy is almost a bigger storyline to me than the transportation of Ellie. Because like I said, right, we've seen it. We've seen it dozens of times. We know that's shit. There was a movie. There was a series called The Transporter. Okay, like
3 movies. I think maybe 4.
right.
So at least 3.
So like that idea and concept we've seen hundreds of times. I'm liking the fact that the finding of Tommy is another major storyline. That to me is the storyline that I'm holding on to right now. So I hope they don't find his ass by episode 3.
Yeah,
If they find his ass by episode 3, they better introduce another main character for me to get into.
So from what I read, they said the first season is going to cover this first game, and the second season is going to cover the second game, which I hope they don't do because honestly, the first game could last 3 or 4 seasons. There's a shit ton to do to cover, and I don't want them to rush it because, like you said, if they rush it, then you'll find out what that storyline ends up with by like next week or the week after.
All right,
Like you said, I want that to be dragged out some. I want to know. I want that to be like the end of this season.
You're right.
Maybe next.
Right.
I want that to drag out some. I want to enjoy this a bit. Also, you don't know this. The second game is not as well received, and I don't want you to look that up. I don't want you to know why. I want you to avoid that as much as you possibly can.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Shit out of stuff. It is not as well received. So, like, I don't want to go from like first season's great. God, the second season sucks. I don't want that. I want to enjoy this ride. But I'll say this. As an adaptation goes, it's great. But there's one point I want to make. This guy, the director of this said, "Oh, we're going to break the video game adaptation curse." Fuck you. That's already been broken. Stop saying that. Every time someone's like, "We're going to make a video game adaptation," and then we're going to break the curse. We're done with that. Stop saying that. That's every time that happens, it pisses me off. We've had TV shows, we've had movies, we've had everything. We've had Mortal Kombat was done. We've had 2 good Mortal Kombat movies. We had Silent Hill. We had Castlevania on Netflix, which is fantastic.
Hold on. The biggest flop that we've had from video game to the main screen adaptation, Street Fighter. Can I get a good Street Fighter, please?
For once.
Please.
Give me
please. Where was Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Gao? Please.
Why was Jean-Claude Van Damme the American soldier? What the fuck happened?
I did not get that. Like, can we please get a good Street Fighter game?
Castlevania was good. Yeah, Castlevania was great. Castlevania was fucking excellent. Arcane was great. Like, we have had video game adaptations that have been fantastic. Stop saying it's gonna break the curse, because it makes me want this to fail. It makes that comment makes me want this show to suck. Like, it drives me nuts. So stop pushing that narrative. Oh yeah, Raw Julie is great. Everyone loves
great. He was great. Wasn't nobody better as Bison. Nobody better than Bison.
For you, the day Bison graced your city was the greatest day. It was the most important day of your life. For me,
right,
it was Tuesday. That's a great line. That's one of the greatest lines I've ever heard from one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But yeah, stop pushing that narrative. Let's just enjoy this. It's great. Give it a watch. We're gonna watch the next episode tomorrow. We'll be back next week to talk about it. And I'm excited. Like you, I'm excited for this Tommy thing. It was never a swap where I'm like, where are they going to go with this? What are they going to change that I know that might throw me for a loop? I'm invested.
Right. I'm invested. Like I said, if I find out episode 3, Tommy done, is gone, then like I said, they need to, if they're gonna try to rush the season in, then they need to start introducing main characters and their storylines immediately. Like, if I'm gonna find out that Tommy's been found or whatever the case may be, Juana man.
He did play DJ. I forgot all about that. With a weird accent. They tried to make him. Was he? What?
I don't know.
Make an accent like weird.
Something weird. If I find out Tommy is found by episode 3, that same episode, you better be introducing me to another major character, and what their problem. You better be doing it.
Like, you better shoot another kid.
Somebody got to go. Something like it should, but that thing in the game, it took a while to find Tommy, or they find him and it's a little.
Yeah, don't talk about that. I'm trying to keep Kenny as blind as possible. We're not gonna anything about this. We're not gonna talk about, because it's something that he's going to, we'll enjoy this together. I'm excited for the message I get from you after shows are over. What the fuck? Like, I'm excited
Right.
what
I'm
are you
trying.
doing
I'm trying to
about
go in. Right. Right.
You
Because
said you said something to me about that when Sarah got shot. Why did you make me watch this?
right. That's the same shit I said. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why do you do this? Like, you're like, what is wrong with you, dude? Because Mongo will tell me, yo, we should watch this so that way we can see if we're gonna. And I'll be sitting there going, why would you like? What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do this? I'm going to watch it, but no, I don't want to talk about this. I'm in a glass case of emotions. What's wrong with you?
Why can't we just watch slap boxing? Why can't we, or slap fighting or whatever?
Like, come on, power slap. People like that
Power
shit.
slap. No one likes that shit. What do you mean people like it? Share everything with no warning. I also do that. We have a lot in common. I'm a bit of a dick when it comes to that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
All right, folks. That's it for us for this week. Ran a little long because we had a lot of shit to talk about. It was a long episode.
If you watched our shows, then you know our first episode is usually the longest because we're introducing everything and things of that nature. But then we get on the roll, stuff like that. Usually on your Saturday, we can pretty much guarantee you'll have your Saturday back before 12:30. We can pretty much guarantee you have your Saturday back before 12:30.
Thank y'all for watching. You can catch us at facebook.com/under the ring, twitch.tv/under the ring pod. And you can catch me at Greg Bush SK. And catch man here at Rock Ribs 44 on Twitter. We will be back next week. We'll also be here on Thursdays if you want to talk about some pro wrestling. That's our usual thing. And full stop, you raggedy bitch.
Like, oh, I just go kill Sarah automatically. You raggedy bitch. You raggedy bitch.
That's a sound clip I should keep. That's a sound clip I should put in here.
Yeah, you
gotta get that. Yeah,
that one and you a little hoe. Gotta put that one in there too.
We're talking about wrestling on Thursdays. This week will be the prediction show for the Royal Rumble. It's gonna be fun.
Get my belt back.
Get your belt back. And then we'll be back on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time to talk about episode 2 of The Last of Us. And maybe Kenny cries some more. We'll see. Until then, thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see y'all.